Hello and welcome to the Tournament Center here at Pro Tour Magic Origins in absolutely beautiful Vancouver, Canada. I am here with the reigning Rookie of the Year, Raymond Perez Jr. And so, Blue-Red Ensoul Artifact, this is a popular deck we've seen breaking out this weekend, but you've been running with scissors now for a couple of, tell us the story about how you came to play this deck.
So the deck originated from David Gleischer and Stefan Barrios. They're from like the Chicago area. They had the list, they sent it to me, they're like, try this deck, and I was like, I'm not touching that deck. It's a draft deck, I refuse. And then the night of the Pro Tour, I proxied it up and started like beating people in my shop, so I was like, all right, I'm moving on this deck. So then I acquired all the cards, and I've been jamming it since, so like 3 weeks now. So it's been pretty sweet.
And then just terrorizing people at your local store with it?
Yep, played one F&M with it, went undefeated, and then, everyone wanted to build the deck.
Sold out of Hangarback walkers in about 5 minutes after you started playing. All right, let's take a look at some of the cards in the deck. Come on over here and talk to me about the scissors in this rock, paper, scissors metagame.
All right, so the card we like the most is Ensoul Artifact. If you put it on turn 2, a lot of decks can't beat that. Like a turn 2 5/5 with haste, like so many decks are just super slow, tap lands, they just fold to it. So it seemed like a good place to be when everyone's trying to do abs.
So you're coming out of the gate, you're attacking for 5, you get in there a couple times, and then let's walk our way back here, and you're going to shrapnel blast.
Oh yeah, that's the
This
finish.
is not a card that's seen a lot of love in Standard. It's been around since last year's core set, but has not seen a lot of play.
Yep. So that's like our go-to finisher. Like the sweet spot in the deck is usually 10 life. So if we can get them to 10, usually we can close out the game super fast with Shrapnel Blast. They think they're safe, and then game's over.
Or you can even sneak in with another Ensoul Artifact and then Shrapnel Blast.
Yep. We use the card later on in the slide where we can get some damage in pretty quick.
Okay, let's take a look. Chief of the Foundry, this is one of the new cards here in Magic Origins.
So the Chief, it does a lot of different functionalities. Thopter is really a bad card by itself, but when we have Chief of the Foundry or the next card Ghostfire Blade on him, it becomes much better. And with the Hangarback walkers, when they explode or we like self-destruct them with the Shrapnel Blast, like that's just such huge pressure. Like two or three Thopters, +1/+1, game over.
All right, so Ghostfire Blade. So all of these 4 of. So these are cards you want to see in your opening hand.
Right.
You want to see some combination of these cards.
Yep.
Right?
Usually it's a mulligan if it doesn't include an Ensoul Artifact, a Shrapnel Blast of some sort, and some early pressure.
And then a Ghostfire Blade.
Yep.
Okay, so let's move on to the next set here. And you've mentioned this card here a couple times, Hangarback Walker. 4 copies. Talk about this card and what it does for you.
All right, so this card is one of the few 2-drops that we have in the deck. It was really hard to have I guess like a 2-drop slot that wasn't Rune Servitor. And so it comes down early, it gets to pump up late, it gets pumped, it's wrath proof, it's pretty awesome.
Do you generally play it as a 1/1?
Yep, usually you just want to get it out there because we use so much mana every turn. So if you can utilize every mana every turn, it's really good.
And then, and kind of cool, I guess, that it comes down as a 1/1, and then you Ensoul Artifact it. It's actually a 6/6, right? Because that's a +1/+1 counter that remains on it.
And you can always pump it up even if that. I've held off for Lucanos many times to Hangarback Walker and Ensoul.
So there you've mentioned the Thopter.
Yep.
Come on, back up a little bit here. Back up a little here. I need to know what's going on with the Keeper of the Lens. What is happening here?
All right, so in testing, we were really, the morph game was really hard to play, so we wanted to figure that out pretty easy. But no, it's a 1-drop. It turns on our Springleaf drums, and like the ability to look at manifests is pretty relevant.
Do not tell me that you've actually looked at a face-down card with this.
We have. So,
come on.
Green Devotion decks, there's multiple game states I played where it's like, if that manifest is a Pelucanos, we're kind of like not going well here. Look, oh, it's not. Sweet. We're still good. So,
what do you do if you find out it is?
Usually scoop, but...
Okay. And then Phyrexian Revoker.
Yep. So originally we had 3 Keeper of the Lens, and then we decided that we wanted 1 Revoker because it's pretty good versus Perilous Vault. It's really good at shutting down mana guys in the Green Devotion. It comes down versus control, serves a purpose, and usually every matchup has something you can name with it.
And it's giving you a 2 power for 2, which you talked about earlier as being the rate really you would love to be getting, right?
The 2-drops is pretty seldom. Doing a Gatherer search, you won't find much.
Okay. I still can't quite get over Keeper of the Lens here, folks.
Gregory Orange, folks. He found that.
So let's take a look at some more cards here. So see, we've got really Magic Origins is showing up in force here. 4 copies of Thopter Engineer, 4 copies of Whirler Road.
Yep. So this is the original reason I didn't want to play it, because draft deck. But the ability to give haste to all your artifact creatures is pretty relevant. Usually if you go turn 3 Thopter Engineer into like a Chief of the Foundry, it gets in there really quick. Turns on all your Thopters from the Whirler Rogue. And the ability of Whirler Rogue is the reason why it's a 4 of. We usually had a 3-2 split between Pia, but Pia's ability is pretty taxing on our mana base. We only play 21 lands, sometimes 20. And the ability to use Ghostfire Blade that doesn't tap to make something unblockable is pretty sweet.
Right, yeah, Whirler Rogue's ability with equipment is kind of nice because it doesn't cost you a creature to activate it. This deck's pretty crazy. I also love the interaction you sort of alluded to, Hangarback, Walker, and Shrapnel Blast, right? Like, you get to do some pretty cool stuff there. Okay, let's take a look. Keep going. We see Springleaf Drum, Darksteel Citadel. Is Pia and Kieran in the main deck?
It is not.
Oh, okay, okay, because I heard you mention it, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Pia's became Whirlers.
Okay, I gotcha. So 4 Springleaf Drum, 4 Darksteel Citadel. Again, these are great targets for Ensoul Artifact on turn 2, I imagine?
Ensoul Artifacts, also just the ability between Whirler Rogue, tapping a Springleaf Drum and a Darksteel Citadel to make your Ensoul unblockable. It's pretty dangerous.
Okay, and let's take a look at the rest here. We see 4 Temple of Epiphany, 4 Shivan Reef, 9 basic lands. What is your great opener look like for this deck? Tell me what you open your 7 and you're like, I win.
It's Darksteel Citadel, Ornithopter, Ghostfire Blade, Springleaf Drum, Ensoul Artifact, X. Like, as long as that's there, like,
so
turn
that's a 5-card hand that you'll keep?
Yep. Turn 1, 4 cards go. Turn 2, Ensoul Artifact. Usually that's pretty game over.
So you get to the Pro Tour, you're playing Keeper of the Lens in your constructed deck. You still feel, a couple rounds in, you still feel pretty good about it? You feel like this is the right decision?
Yep, I feel like it's really good versus Abzan. It's really good versus Control. It's really good versus Rally. So that's what we expected to play against, and so far, it's been holding up.
Do you think it's the most aggressive deck in the room?
I don't think it's the most aggressive. I just think it's aggressive that has a better late game.
Okay, well, Rookie of the Year is closing. The window's closing. You've got some work to do.
Yep.
We want to see more of you next year, Ray. So go out there, win some more matches. For Ray Perez Jr., this is Brian David Marshall from the Tournament Center.